Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen. With me on the show today, Debbie G and Neo Positivity. This is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today. We're also happy because our friend Debbie G is planning to rejoin us. Probably just a cameo, be in here for just a few minutes. But she's resetting up her studio after a couple months being off. And once she gets that set up, she's going to join us. Which, Neil, we've been putting out the love to her for a while. It's nice to have her getting back here.
Hashtag we love Debbie G.
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly do. And our guest, Ian Clark. Ian, once you meet Debbie, you'll understand why this lady is a bundle of energy. We were talking before we got started about the background. You have this beautiful painting that was done, and it's like a water scene with some high energy waves in it. And that pretty much, yeah, there you go. I like that. So, I mean, and that pretty much defines Debbie. She is just like this continuous wave of energy. You'll sense it when she comes in.
Greatness.
But, yeah, really good stuff. And Neil, of course, now tomorrow is your next summit. I know we've got we've seen who the speakers are, but any additional news?
No, other than the fact that I've done a couple more live streams with them and got to know them better. And I'm just amped up and excited. Like, we're bringing the house, we're bringing everything. And, I've manifested finally, everybody doing their job as far as promoting it and stuff like that. In the past, I'll have 6 speakers and none of them even posted about it, although they all promised to. But they say, getting your speakers together is like herding cats.
This is true.
You've done this summit before. These have actually been really great. So I'm proud of that and I'm happy for it.
I have to admit, the one summit that I did, which you were part of, I found a way around that. I got my closest friends to do it with me, and they weren't going to let me down because they were my closest friends. But I understand your point about the cats.
It is like herding cats, but this group has made it very easy, and the quality of information that they're bringing is blowing my head off. It really is. So I love it.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And I'm planning to do a cameo there myself. So that's going to be fun.
Yes. Hopefully you get in there. Hopefully Debbie steps in too. I'd love to have her.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to see Debbie both today and tomorrow. That's for sure. But anyway, let's introduce our guest. His name is Ian Clark. And for nearly 20 years now, he's been on a journey that started with, I believe, his own health crisis. I'm going to let him tell that story. But it eventually, during that time, led to him creating and leading a company called Activation Products, which he'll be telling us about. And honestly, I don't know a whole lot more about him. So I have to let him tell the story, Neil. I mean, I can't even give him the full introduction, right? So Ian, thanks for joining us. How are you doing today?
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Doing very well. In fact, better than ever. There's been a lot of beautiful advances in the last little while, which I'm extremely pleased with. And it's something we can share to the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. So give us your story. How did all this get started?
Well, this phase of the story, which started when I was 46 years old, happened as a result of me finding out that I didn't know what was going on how to manage my own body's health. Mm-hmm. And I had everything unraveling on me with a large tumor in the bottom of my abdomen, around my colon and prostate, and then had a very significant heart disease situation. And then my liver went off the rails, and it was just sort of a physical situation that was a meltdown. I had just gone through a bankruptcy with a business failure at the time, and married to my wife for, at that point, I guess 24 years, 7 children together. And so It was a crisis situation. We were living in Toronto at the time, Toronto, Ontario. And it was, it was just one of those things where I was like, wow, this is interesting. Like, what's next? And so what was next was doctors simply telling me that I have to do certain surgeries and procedures in order to survive. And I would probably make it 3 years if I took their advice. If I didn't, who knows what would happen.
Right.
But I was very unimpressed with myself mostly, and also very unimpressed with them because I found they were guessing quite a bit. And at that time, in 2004, it was what I kind of had a suspicion that the world was much more advanced than what I was understanding in the medical realm. And my uncles had died when I was 20 years old, exactly 26 years earlier in 1978. Both my uncles on my mom's side died of cancer, 51 and 54 years old, literally 2 days apart in September 78. One and the other one's funeral. It was super weird. But I remembered that what they did is they followed the exact procedures and the protocol, and the surgeries and the medicines that the doctors gave them, and they guaranteed a funeral for them. And they both got to their funeral kind of on time. And it didn't make any sense. I was like, okay, but we got to be way further ahead than 1978. And my brother's a medical doctor for 30 years in North Bay, a general practitioner. And I would call him and tell him what was going on when things would happen sometimes in my life. And this time he said, look, you got to stop screwing around with this. You got to do everything they're telling you. You're genetically predisposed to these problems. You look like Uncle Don, remember, and he was the younger of my uncles. And here I'm at 46. So I just told my brother, I said, I have a very strong suspicion that it's no one's fault, but it's my responsibility. And I think I am the problem, and I need to find out why and how. I just think it's me.
Wow. What an insight.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was like truth. And he told me that's absolutely ridiculous. If you don't follow through, you're committing suicide and blah, blah, blah. So when that happened, I just told everybody to just chill out a little bit. My wife was having a fit. And I just wanted to learn. And I woke up one morning and I realized that, of course, in this world we live in, there's, I don't know, they say 8 billion people. I don't know how many there is, but there are people on this earth who are the top level in each category. It's just the way it is. I mean, you get the best violinist, you get the best drummer, you get the best heart scientist and brain scientist and doctors who really know the truth about how things work. And so that was this intro. I was like, that's true. I wonder if I could find them. Wouldn't that be interesting? But then I realized that I don't know who they are. I don't know where they are. And I have no way to find them. It's like the super needle in a haystack.
Yeah, Google didn't exist yet.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Google was there, but it was, I knew that if I wasn't led and directed to those things, to those people and to find out, then I would never find them. So my request was, I want to be directed to them. If I could find favor, I will then listen. I will do whatever it takes because I am going to die if I don't. And I have no interest in dying. And I don't think I'm supposed to die right now. I really had this strong gut instinct that there's a mission ahead and I'm getting interrupted here. And so when I started just taking responsibility, and it didn't matter what the circumstances were in my past, all these weird things that happened to me, there were accidents, and I worked in the oil field for 17 years and there was a lot of things that happened. I was poisoned in there with lead and all this weird stuff.
Sure.
Wow. But it just turned out at the end, I really just had a huge amount of fungal infections in my body that caused the tumor. And I had a lot of heavy metals. I had a lot of chemical overloads. I had been injured many times. And so I had to go through this process of finding out how to support my body's ability to heal itself. Because your body's always trying to heal itself.
Right.
But if it gets behind the 8 ball, it gets behind the curve, it falls away and it can't get over the hump. And that's where people die. A lot of people die in their 40s. A lot of people die in their 50s, right?
By the way, the fact that you had identified those things that were likely factors, I mean, now we can look at them and say, well, yeah, of course. But at that time, that was still a little bit nebulous. So people weren't really clear about it.
That's right. Well, and plus I was programmed like so bad.
Sure, we all are.
Like with greed and selfishness and egotistic and narcissism and all this stuff was, I look back at that person, whatever that was. I was like, dude, what was that? Whoa. Right. And the more that I spiritually detoxed and mentally detoxed and emotionally detoxed and the body detoxing, I knew that detox was the biggest thing once I started learning what that was, but I really didn't know how to do it. And I started going down these rabbit holes with people who were pretty radical.
Yep.
So I did some interesting stuff for the first few years, but enough things that within that 36-month window I had, I was able to put it out to about 60 months. So then I had a bit more bandwidth. And then I thought, if I got 5 years to work with, looks like now, if I use that 5 years wisely, maybe I could get 15 years. I could get 15 years, maybe I could get 30 years. And so it kept going like that. And the cool thing was we never had money. We were always just enough money every month I'd owned little businesses and been an entrepreneur, and I was employee on and off, but it was always just like we were just always making a month to month.
Right.
And then I found out about this thing called Oceans Alive. And well, I actually called it that. It wasn't called that at the time. But all it is marine phytoplankton. And this, we still have the bottle today. So back in 2006, I found out about this. And I started taking it. I kind of got into it in 2007 mostly. But I would put it in my drink, and I would drink it. And nobody had ever heard of this stuff before. This is out of Europe, and it was very novel. And it's an heirloom nutrient. Mm-hmm. But I just noticed that when I drank it, that I felt good. And I wasn't, there's no stimulant, so it wasn't like coffee or anything. But I got strong. I got this, like my battery was charging up. That's the only way I could describe it to people.
Sure.
And then I had this strength and this energy, and it made me feel joyful too. And the more I did it, and I realized, hey, this is something. What is this? So I was showing some people in Canada at a farmer's market, because I didn't know where to tell people, right? Because I don't have any marketing in that world. And I went to an organic farmer's market, and they all turned their nose up at it. They said, "Oh, that's just microalgae. That's like spirulina." I said, "No, it's not like that. This is from the ocean, and I think it's pretty cool." But they didn't have any interest. So somebody said, "Go down to Anaheim." So in March of 2007, I went to Anaheim to the Expo West, huge natural products event, and I brought some with me. And the people in California were like, "Oh, I'll try that. I'll do this. I'll do that." And they came back and they go, "Okay, what is this stuff?" Because in about 15 minutes they would feel something. And I just said, "Well, I don't know a lot about it. I just know that it just charges my battery up." And it within the first 24 months, without even having a company, and my sons were young at the time, and I had just gone through bankruptcy, so I had no means of doing anything.
Right.
We gathered a little bit of money together. A medical doctor who was a natural type guy in Toronto lent me some money because he saw what it was. Mm-hmm. And because after I went to California, he was, "Oh, that's interesting." And we did 2.8 million in sales in the first 24 months out of the basement of our house in Toronto.
Wow.
With no marketing, no sales, no insurance, no nothing. And it happened quietly because I would get a phone call or an email requesting 1,000 bottles and then another 1,000 bottles. And we were flying these totes, these 20-liter totes of this marine phytoplankton from Europe. And we set up a clean room in our basement. So it was really sanitary. And we had little beakers, and we had all these kids. And they were having a blast filling these bottles and printing labels in the printer. And that's how it all started. And so when the money came in, we only got 1/3 of the money because the people who were buying it from us, they paid $20 and then they were selling it for $60. So the total sales was 2.4 million retail. We got about 800,000. Mm-hmm. But that's a lot of money.
Yeah, sure.
Because we didn't need that money. And we always lived, we were used to living we had a decent place, but we didn't own the house. Mm-hmm. And so I went, "Well, whose money is that?" And I thought, "I know it's not mine." So we couldn't bring it to Canada because then it would be taxed. Mm-hmm. And it was just sitting in the States. And I thought, "Well, what do we do with this?" So, I know what to do with it. We'll just reinvest it because the people who put the money into that, they earned the money by working and, paying their taxes and paying their expenses. And they have a little bit left over. Mm-hmm. And they think this is cool. And so they're trusting us with their money. And we gave them this for their money, but it's still their money. And that was one of the biggest discoveries to realize, hold it, that's their money. So I want to use their money for them. So then it enabled me to travel. I could go and research, and I just worked, and the work was so much fun because I got to meet all these interesting people. And then I could buy products, and I tried equipment. I found out about technology that supports health, and I got to travel all over the world. And then we actually took it seriously. We set up a real company in 2014. And from then we got our own manufacturing facility. And the first year that we opened that, we did 10 million in sales just by people having so much interest. And then, but that's a tiny thing, right? A tiny amount of money when you talk about this industry, because most players in the industry are very large. They do hundreds of millions a year in sales.
Sure.
And they put it through health food stores, but we never put it through health food stores. What I found out is that I wanted to spend the least amount of time, least amount of energy, least amount of effort, and the least amount of money to be able to get the maximum result, what I was looking for, which we all want to be healthy. Mm-hmm. We all want to feel good. We want to stay young. We want to live a long time. We want to be on mission and serve the world that we live in. And so that allowed that to go in. And so we just kept putting the money back into the business. And then we built a 70,000 square foot facility that we have here in Cobourg now. And we just kept putting the money back in and learning. And then we learned marketing. We went direct to consumer. We never went through health food stores. You know, some health food stores would find out about us and they put it on the shelf, but we didn't put energy into it. I wanted to hear from the people directly of any product that we were going to bring out. What did they think about it? Mm-hmm. How did that work for them? And that eliminated having a huge product line, because then only the stuff that really worked, then we focused on that. Then we would try another one. Oh, that worked. Or that didn't work, right? And that's how it went. So that's where we are today.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that story. Neil, I see looks on your face. I mean, did you want to jump in? Did you have questions here or something?
Now I'm just taking it all in. I obviously want to know more about the product, but that's, I don't know.
So let's go there. So tell us about this product.
Well, the product line, the physical products that we consume, that we complement our health with, they are complementary. The most important thing for you and me is the knowledge. How does the body really work? What does it actually need? How do you stop aging? And so I was in a situation where I had to reverse aging. I was like an 84-year-old at 46.
Mm.
So chronologically, I was 46. Biologically, I was 84, and I knew that wasn't right. So I learned how to move that needle back so that the end of my life was going way out there. Everything we're doing, everything we're thinking and saying, and our actions, reactions are affecting our life and our length of life. So if I don't know what I'm doing, and I do crystal meth and crack cocaine, which I've never done, but if I did, I'd be moving the end of my life right up really close, really soon.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if I'm not paying attention to what I'm eating or breathing or hydrating or detoxing, then I'm slowly moving it towards me. But you don't want to move it towards you at all. Like, say if you're supposed to live 120 years or 150 or 180, it doesn't matter what the number is. That's where you should live to. But if you're doing something that's moving it towards you, you can't feel that today. Mm. You only feel that when it gets close. When it got like within 36 months, I was like, what is it doing there? Where did that come from?
Right.
That doesn't even make sense.
It's a bit of a shock.
Get that stinking, you got to get it out.
Damn you, buddy.
So now what I've finally learned the simplest stuff. It costs very little money, very little effort, very little time. But it takes a bank account of courage. It takes courage. Because once you find out the truth, it's completely contrary to everything we were ever taught. So then you're going to have to stand up and you're going to have to take a risk and explore, is this true? And every time I got a gut feeling about things that this looks like the right thing, I think I'm going to do this. I'll give you an example. This looks like a glass of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a glass of water.
Ooh.
I never drink water. The more water you drink, the more you're dehydrating your body. And
how is that?
Well, I'll explain. Everyone is told from a little child all the way till now.
And I'm drinking water, by the way, as you're saying this. So,
right,
all of a sudden, like, oh, geez, what am I drinking here?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's completely counterintuitive. That's why I said it takes courage. Every body of work, every study in every university, all the medical studies, all the clinical trials, they all tell you that you have to drink so much water per ounce of water per pound of body weight.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, you're going to be shortening your life. You're going to be dehydrated. You're not going to be well. And you can't, in the older you get, the less salt that you have to take. You just cannot handle salt. The older you get, the more salt you have to reduce until you're at 70 with high blood pressure. You're told to drink even more water, and you can't have any salt at all. You have to look at every label and make sure there's no salt on it. And then you're put on a diuretic to reduce the amount of fluid in your body, because the more fluid you have, the more your heart cardiovascular system has to pump everything through your veins, because your heart isn't really the pump. The heart is the input and the output, but your microcirculation in your veins are pulsating every single mile of the hundreds of miles. And as you get hardened arteries, as you get hypertension, as you get demineralized, your muscles become stiff. Look at the older people get, they become so stiff they can barely move around, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's with that? It's never supposed to happen. And then because they're having struggle getting the blood, the plasma going through their system, they get high blood pressure and they get hardened arteries and their diastolic numbers go off the charts. It's just awful. And so then they can't have salt, because if they have salt, it makes their blood pressure go up even more.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So if they would have known at a young
So
enough,
what is it that you're drinking? That's the question. I mean, you're teasing us about this. Come on.
correct.
Go ahead.
Right. So this is electrolytic fluid. This is exactly the same kind of fluid that your body wants and is made of. You don't have water in your body. Everybody is told we're 80% water.
I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
Total fallacy. Show me where your water is. Cry me a tear and tell me if that tastes like water. Nope. Spit, saliva, mucus, blood, lymphatic fluid, interstitial fluid, intercellular fluid. There's no water there. There's electrolytic fluid. You make electrolytic fluid with the water as the base, but it's no longer water. The moment you change it in structure and you add minerals to it from the ocean, it is now electrolytic fluid. It's no longer H2O. It's a structured fluid that donates electrolytes to your body. If you drink clean water, water is obviously a solvent. Mm-hmm. It's super hungry. When you drink clean water, it asks your body, donate electrolytes to me. You have no choice. Donate them. Because it's an osmotic law in the universe. Osmotic transfer of salinity is going to go to the lesser thing every time.
Okay.
So you increase the amount of electrolytes in the fluid you make by adding 1 teaspoon of sea salt. You have to get the right sea salt. Okay. Can't have microplastics, can't have heavy metals. Has to have the broad spectrum of the sodium chloride, the magnesium, the potassium, the boron, calcium, and so on. There's 90 different minerals in raw, unrefined sea salt. Can't be refined. It has to be raw. And it's absolutely, this is more valuable than gold. Okay. And when you have that, you have to dissolve it into the water. So you take a 1 liter jug. This is 3/4 of a liter. But you take a 1 liter bottle. You put 1 teaspoon in there. That's the advanced version. You start it with a half a teaspoon so your body gets acclimated to it.
And let me just be clear. The half teaspoon or 3/4 teaspoon is what? It's a teaspoon of what?
Unrefined raw sea salt.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Okay.
Now, why sea salt? What's with the sea salt? Everybody knows if you drink seawater, you die. That's another fallacy, by the way, but that's okay. So the goal is for every 50 pounds of body weight, you put 1 teaspoon of raw, unrefined sea salt into 1 liter of water, dissolve it in completely, and you drink 1 of those per day for every 50 pounds of body weight. That's the requirement. That is the fuel that your body needs to energize it. That then allows your body to detoxify. At my age, so I'm 65, I have the biological age of a 25-year-old because of what I've learned. So I can drink this no problem and nothing happens. But if I was a normal 65-year-old, if I had survived my 46-year-old and continued that travel, I would drink this and my blood pressure would go through the roof. Why? Because it adds 10 pounds of fluid to your system in the first month you start doing this. You don't gain any weight as far as size. You're exactly the same waist size and everything. But your cells are finally able to get the electrolytes that it wants, and it's in the form of fluid. Once you get enough fluid in your body, then your blood can detox. It starts to dump all the toxins out of it. And then the cells go, oh, I can detox now. Now just think about shriveling. What happens when you dehydrate something? It shrivels.
Right.
What's Alzheimer's? A shriveled brain. What's dementia? A shriveled brain. It's just dehydrating. What is a prostate problem with a man? Prostate problem with a man, it enlarges as it dehydrates because it's freaking out. It's enlarging and it's getting stiff. And then if you are my age and you have to hold your pee for half an hour if you're driving, you go to the bathroom, you're not going to be peeing for 30 seconds. You're going to stand there going, interesting. And then you're going to pee for 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. It's going to trickle out. Now, within a month and a half to 2 months of drinking electrolytic fluid, that's gone. You have now rehydrated your prostate. It goes back to its normal size. You can hold your pee for hours and pee like a young person. That's all it is. All the PSA numbers, all the worry about, it's all bogus once you know how to manage your body. So just think about
before I got questions. I got to get in here before you go any further with this, because this is really interesting to me, and I imagine it's probably interesting to listeners. Neil, I think you're kind of paying attention too.
Yeah, I want some, man.
We're riveted here. First question that is kind of racking at my brain is you mentioned that if you're a normal, what's the age you said, 65, 75, I don't remember what it was. If you're normal at that age and you start taking this, your blood pressure is going to go through the roof. So the question that goes through my mind is, well, if somebody who's in that range, what do they do?
Work their way out.
They don't have to worry at all. So what kills you with high blood pressure is when you have high blood pressure over a significant period of time, because it's wearing on you. And eventually people have strokes and they have heart attacks and they have all that stuff. So when you do this within a very short window, all these minerals start to go in and start to rehydrate your body, and it softens everything back to a youthful state. It takes the statue that you're walking around in this stiff old thing, and it just opens it right up again. Now all the hypertension that's pushing on your cardiovascular system releases, because all the minerals are like finally like, oh wow, okay. So your body is now fluid. Now you got mobility, and your blood pressure goes right down to the athletic level. That's what goes on. But you got to get through the firewall. So what happens is the doctor's like, you can't have any salt. And so you go to the doctor, well, I'm going to drink salt. And then your blood pressure goes up. I told you your blood pressure was going to go up. And everybody goes, oh, I better not do this. And that guy must have been telling me the wrong thing. Right? But
so what should a person who's doing this, what should they expect in terms of like how long it's going to take or how risky it's going to be while they're going through it?
Well, there's a risk to being alive, but no, this is not risky. Okay. There's risk and there's risky. It's like an investor on Wall Street. If you're not a sophisticated investor, it's very risky, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it's a calculated risk. And depending on how toxic you are when you find out about these things and how stiffened up you are, how sore you are, how hypertension you are, you have to take it easy. So you might start with a 1/4 teaspoon in a liter of water for a week. Then you go to a 1/2 teaspoon. Then you go to a 3/4 teaspoon. Then within a month, you're at the full teaspoon in the liter. And you'll go through a roller coaster ride. Like when I first started doing it, I had to get a good toilet brush. For real. Because the blood's going to be dumping everything.
Because you're clearing everything out. Yeah, I get it.
And I was already really clean. But I wasn't fully clean because I wasn't hydrated. So you go through the cycle and you just monitor where you are at, because everyone's so uniquely individual. You have your own personal history, your own personal genetics. Everything about you is super unique. So you have to be gentle with yourself. No radical stuff. No rushing out and changing everything overnight.
Right.
That never works anyway. So if you go into the gym and your goal is to be able to bench 400, you start at 40 pounds and you work your way up. Otherwise you can break something.
Sure.
So it's just being, aware, taking responsibility, and getting what is called care. So the more I care for myself, the more curiosity I have to learn, which is capacity. If I have a limited capacity for knowledge and wisdom, then I've only get a little bit. As my capacity expands, I can get more and more knowledge, but more definitive knowledge. I don't want all the noise because there's so much noise out there.
There's a ton of it.
Right. Then you need courage to be able to step up and do what you're being shown to do, because everyone's going to tell you you're crazy, but you're not crazy. Like it would be like, are you kidding? You're not supposed to have salt. You're 65 years old. So here's another example. When you're 20 years old, you go and get your kidney function measured. You find out you got 100% kidney function at 20 years old. The average North American and around the world, by the time they're 60 only, in 40 short years, they're down at 30% kidney function. And that's a real number. So once you do this, it brings your kidney function back up to 100%. It takes a full year. It takes a year to hydrate your body at my age. And that means it's slowly going in, it's opening it up, getting all the stuff, your body detoxing, it's softening everything. It gets access to parts of your body you never knew that you had. It doubles your brain power, doubles it. Now think about the term electrolyte.
Let me just interject here. And to reiterate what you're saying, you said it takes a year to do this. By a year, you mean a year of taking 1 liter of this salt solution every single day.
For every 50 pounds of body weight.
For every 50 pounds of body weight.
Yeah, so I'm drinking like 3.5 liters minimum. And this stuff is so good tasting that you can barely taste it. It has that, just this, you're satiated. You go into the scriptural texts, for example. It says, you are the salt of the earth. And if the salt has lost its savor, it's to be discarded. So there's little clues. Are you worth your salt? You ever been asked that?
Oh, yes.
Why did they ask you that? because salary, it comes from the word salt, saline, salary. People used to be paid in salt. This is more valuable than gold because this keeps you alive ongoing. We don't know how long a human could live doing this. We don't know. Hundreds of years, we don't know. We'll find out.
I got to stop you because I have another question. Now, you said, going back to my previous question about how much you're drinking. So it's a liter of this stuff for every 50 pounds of body weight. So for me, that means 4 liters. That's a lot of water you're drinking every day.
Oh yeah, but it's so easy. Like if you try to drink 4 liters a day of water, you're going to be choking it down.
Absolutely.
Your body does not want it. It's like, don't do this to me. And when you put the salt in here and make electrolytic fluid, it goes down like pure silk.
Really?
I can guzzle this stuff. It's so good. And so in the morning when you wake up, because you've just spent the whole night repairing and DNA repair and restoring and digesting and resting, right? And so when you wake up in the morning, you drink the full liter first thing in the morning, and then that flushes your body through. That's how you start your day. Then you do half a liter, half an hour before lunch, half a liter after lunch, half a liter before dinner, half a liter after dinner, and that's it. And then during the day, I make tea and I drink all kinds of good stuff. I just don't ever touch caffeine or alcohol or any diuretic because that removes electrolytic fluid.
That's going to offset what you're doing. Yeah, I get that. So, okay, I'm loving this. I know Neil's loving this. We want to get back to this, but we got to welcome back our friend, Debbie G, who has been gone for like 2 months dealing with the surgery and stuff. Hey, we got cheers and everything. Hey, how you doing there, girl?
Woo! I'm here. This is Frosty.
Hi, Frosty.
Nice.
Isn't he's our new little rescue. Here you go, baby. So, you guys,
welcome back.
I just am so grateful to be here. Tomorrow I turn 55.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. I've been gone for a minute, you guys. Been gone. I had
at least a minute.
I had a really awesome surgery. So it was fantastic. I just am so grateful. Like, I have my voice back for the most part, and the scar is healing up pretty well. I can't see a whole lot, but it's all right. And, you know, the tumor was not cancerous, but it was eating all my calcium. I had something that was eating the calcium from my bones. So I'm really excited that, that is gone because, well, we need to do like a whole show and talk about this. This is mind-boggling. When your body when its minerals are off at all, what happens? And just, you know, and I heard you talking about salt. Hi, Ian Clark. How are you? I'm Debbie G.
Hey, Debbie, a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hold on. I got to look at Neo and Walt too here.
It's been a while.
I just need to, I'm going to cry. I'm serious.
We have been missing you so much. We really have.
Every week we shout you out.
We do.
They ain't the same without you. It's your party. You can cry if you want to. That's what I'm right?
Crying, man.
It's your birthday.
Major gratitude tears right now. I just can't tell you how much I adore you and appreciate you for holding that big space for me during this healing process. And it just feels good to be here right now and present in gratitude and appreciation for my beautiful, beautiful friends. Thank you.
We got it.
My heart is flowing right now. My heart is just flowing over. Ugh. Chills.
God, it's damn good to be back. Woo! Spark that G vibe! Boom! Debbie G.
Ian is now getting a sense of the real Debbie G. She's starting to come out. She's emerging.
Okay, so all right. I was listening to some of this, and I found this fascinating. 4 liters of water. Well, I am in Colorado right now, and the dehydration factor when I'm at a high elevation is just absolutely remarkable to me. What I want to understand and know is the salt structuring the water?
100%. It structured instantaneously structures it. That is what makes it, because it's not water anymore. The moment you put the unrefined raw sea salt in there, it becomes electrolytic fluid. It then makes it smooth as silk. It just slides into your body like effortlessly. Whereas if you're drinking water, it's choking it down most of the time. It's like a chore. This is a joy, a pleasure. So it has the perfect exact structure from the original natural way.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. I love that. So my next question is, so it's sort of like I have Epsom salt right now, and that Epsom salt could be used, it's food grade. So it's used though more for a diuretic. What or if, like if it was magnesium, that kind of thing, like if you need to get things flowing in your body, what's the purpose behind putting this salt into your body doing this method every day versus structuring the water per se, like in the sun, that way, like taking a gallon, letting it structure from the sun and then drinking that water. What's the difference between the two? I'm just curious.
Well, when you drink the pure structured water without the minerals in it, and, like mineral water, they talk, at the store, that's the worst thing for you. It's like drinking rocks. But if you drink pure water,
yeah,
and it's structured, it is a solvent that will dissolve and demand that your body donate its precious electrolytes that it needs to survive into that water, and then you pee it out. So that will dehydrate you faster than anything on earth is drinking pure structured water. But when you start with, pure structured water will dehydrate you rapidly.
Are you referring to purified versus pure? Because pure structured water with minerals in it should not be dehydrating anybody. If you strip the minerals out through purification, then that makes total sense. And I'm also curious about the memory. To structure water means that water holds memory. There's a beautiful documentary on Gaia about the wonders of water. Yes. And how our ocean, which is salt water, holds that memory for centuries and millions upon millions of years. Mm-hmm. That memory is held in that water. Mm-hmm. So what's the difference between, purified water, I agree. But what about, we have an artisan well. We have water that comes straight up from the ground. What about that?
It's fine, but it's still lacking the minerals. So the electrolytes your body needs, you have an ocean inside of your body. Cry me a tear, and that's exactly 1/3 strength ocean water.
That's a good one. I like that. Cry me a tear. That's you ever lift your tears off? Anybody?
A little bit.
Those are stress hormones too. But so
I love that. Well, my tears are gratitude tears. I don't know.
Those are gratitude hormones today. If you make a girl cry, okay. So the point is that this is the biggest health discovery on earth.
Okay.
And it's completely counterintuitive to the normal mainstream natural path. The normal mainstream allopath is completely contrary to all of it, because everybody gets very married to the ideas that they're told, and we become super indoctrinated. Mm-hmm. If you look at the cross section of society right now, and I've been exposed to everything from the mainstream dumbed down to the maximum to the very highest level of health consciousness and meditation and exercise and the cleanest foods and the best waters. And I've had millions of dollars to invest into anything I so chose. I'm not a rich guy at all. I was just given access to the money to do the investment, to do the research. And I found all the stuff out there. And at the end of the day, everything gets displaced with the truth, because whether a person is in the mainstream eating packaged foods from Kraft Foods and General Foods and Procter & Gamble and drinking alcohol and coffee and smoking cigarettes and, living a riotous life and doing whatever they want, they live till they're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and some of them make it to 100. And we know people who made it to 100 who never, ever had any health consciousness in their life. It's more rare. They usually die in their 80s and 90s at best. And then you get the health conscious people. And so they've done tons of analysis on this. Health conscious people, they have a higher quality of life. Mm-hmm. They die in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and some of them make it to 100. And they all wither away and they die of old age if they don't have a disease, and then they're gone. Mm-hmm. And the average is about 6 to 8% longer life for a health conscious person versus a non-health conscious person. Mm-hmm. And if you get a bodybuilder, somebody who's into body worship and being big macho man or big ripped and all that stuff, they live 3 to 7% shorter life than a normal mainstream person, because they're into apoptosis and they're tearing their bodies up to look like something, which they don't need to do. And instead of autophagy. So what we're into is into autophagy.
Restructure of the cellular system. Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. And because our cells are reproducing every 7 days. And so, right. So a lot of people will achieve that through a water cleanse. So do you use this? And by the way, thank you for your beautiful explanations. I love that. So is this, do you use this as a water cleanse too, to get autophagy, or does this happen without doing a cleanse?
No, well, autophagy is on a daily basis rather than stopping and saying, okay, I'm going to do this to get autophagy.
Well, people have to do that, yeah.
Right. It's implementing the daily autophagy support so that you stop dying altogether. I'm not saying you're just going to never die, but you slow the aging process down until you can't even see that you're aging. And the first phase of that is that you reverse the advanced aging that you've experienced depending on what's happened to you, back to a biological age of around a 25-year-old, and then you maintain that. Like I'm chronologically 65. When I was 46, I was biologically 84, and I was going to die within 36 months. So then I was like, whoa, what's going on, right? So I had to learn all this stuff and find out how to fix that and then implement it. But anyways, was taught to me. So then I was able to do that. Then I went, oh, that's how it works. Okay, got it. So how do we get back to a biological age of a 25-year-old, regardless of how chronologically old we are? And then if you stop your body from dying, you just simply keep living. So we don't know now, it could be 200-300 years, and it does not involve technology. All the technology, we're waiting for the nanobots to come and save us. Forget it. They're not going to do that. We are in a biological flesh organism that is self-healing all the time. And our job is to support that so that nothing goes wrong. Nothing. There's no weird things that come up and all of a sudden we've got this problem. It's based upon detoxification. The reason the seawater is so vitally important, you have to go to a pure part of the ocean that does not have any microplastics, no heavy metals, and it's got all of the different salts in the right balance. Now, there's a very specific place that has that. And when you dissolve that into water, you have to turn it into liquid. The advanced version is 1 teaspoon per liter of every fluid you drink. So you turn the water into electrolytes, dissolved in water, and it becomes electrolytic fluid. You drink 1 liter for every 50 pounds of body weight, and you're going to go through a roller coaster ride depending on how toxic or damaged your body is at this particular time. But that roller coaster ride is a fairly short ride. Within 2 to 3 months, you're through it. The first month or so, you got to get a good toilet brush. You're going to go through some interesting times. Your blood pressure is going to go up. Then your body's going to soften and get rid of all the hypertension, and your blood pressure goes down to normal, like an athlete. You're going to have far, far better sleep. Your sleep's going to be so high quality that I'm down around 3 hours a night, and I love sleeping. But wow. I go into this deep sleep that's so deep. I go into some other universe. I'm not even sure where I go. And I dream from the time I start to sleep till the time I wake up. But when I wake up after 3 hours, I'm so recharged that I don't know what to do with my energy half the night.
That's an interesting problem.
So I love this, and I'm just like hogging right now. See, I told my husband, I'm like, I'm going to go on there and I'm going to hog.
Well, I warned Ian. This is the Debbie G that's emerging right now. This is the one we know.
Okay.
Her energy just takes over the show, and we love it.
I don't want to take over, but I do have questions. So, okay, my next question is.
You just do it naturally. That's all.
So like because right now healing is a really major part of my life, and epigenetics and using Bruce Lipton and everybody, meditations, and really looking at our thoughts and how our body is reacting to that. Knowing that environment plays a big part, and also what we are ingesting into our body. So my curiosity, though, lies within this. What about somebody who's got a deteriorated liver that's got cirrhosis, and salt is literally could kill them? Is this a special salt? Or because I would be petrified if somebody I knew that had cirrhosis were to intake that kind of salt and put that on their body because it's so extreme. I would be worried about that, though I do understand what you're saying, and I feel that that's true. I'm a little concerned about people that have serious already internal organ damage.
Right. So it depends if they're over the threshold or not. If they're over a threshold, they're not coming back. They're going to die shortly. I have no idea, but they've got nothing to lose. So what happens is this, and of course you don't want to put somebody at risk where you take them out from getting them to drink salt water.
Well, here you go. Here's your salt water.
That's right. And so,
by the way, we're planning your funeral.
Yeah, you're going to exit really fast, buddy. So at any rate, you start gently with someone like that. You start with 1/8 of a teaspoon if they're that sick.
Yeah.
And you do that for a week, and then you go a 1/4 teaspoon and a half and so on. You gently ramp up with someone like that. Someone like you and me, where we've been health conscious and going for many years this way, I could start out at the full tilt. And yeah, I went through a roller coaster, but I got over it very quickly. And plus I've learned that I have to earn courage. I'm not a courageous person. I earn courage and then I spend it. And I don't like risky stuff. I cannot stand risky stuff. I love taking a risk. A calculated risk where you have knowledge and you have the gut instincts that this is the right thing. And then you proceed and you find out that it's true. But you have to go by physical observation, because if I had all the white papers and all the clinical trials and all the stuff to sell you on an idea, it's still, where's my physical evidence? So with our company, we've been doing this now for 16 years and we sell direct to consumer because we want the immediate feedback loop. We don't want to have any firewall to hide behind. We don't want to be shielded from our clients at all. Most large production companies sell to a distributor, to a reseller, to a health food store, to the end user, right? Mm-hmm. And they never really get the feedback loop.
Right.
And they're building their company to sell for $500 million. And every single one of those companies do the same thing. They just have my glop is better than your glop thing. And then all the people who are teaching, all like the gurus who are teaching all the stuff, they're all dying right on time before they're 100. None of them are living a long, long time. Every time you see them, they look older. And you and I and all of us, as we get older, we should be getting better, faster, smarter, wiser, stronger, because we're here longer. We have more time to build on what we were given to live in this earth. And our bodies, our physical bodies, they fall apart if we don't know what we're doing. Or if I think I know something because I've been taught by some guru something, which is what happened to me. I found out that I had a ton of this information and I was super indoctrinated. I was so indoctrinated before 46 that I was going to be dead by 49. That was really bad.
I'm just curious. How did you know you'd be dead by 49?
Oh, because I had a huge tumor in the bottom of my body that was growing like crazy. And I had a liver numbers were up. In fact, my liver numbers were so bad that the technician who did the measurement said, you have to leave right now and go to emergency. I go, what are you talking about? You think your machine broken or what? No, it's not. It's like, and I had heart disease. I had all the symptoms of heart disease. I was all plugged up. And so I just had this, it sort of was this perfect storm to take me out. And I was going to doctors in Toronto. They wanted to do surgery that would freak me out. Thankfully, my tumor was right down between my legs, pressing up against the prostate and it was attached to the colon, and it was pulsing with every heartbeat and it was growing. Wow. And it was a nasty one, right? And I'm like, you're going to cut me where? All I could see was these scalpels going in where my male plumbing is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think so. This can't be right. Something's wrong. And I don't want the surgery. You have to do the surgery. There's thousands of surgeries like this a year. This is nothing new. What are you talking about? Just sign up and go. You're scheduling. My brother was a doctor for 30 years. And I was talking about him earlier. He told me, you're an idiot. You've got to go do it, because I told him I don't want to do this. He goes, smarten up. You're genetically predisposed. You look like Uncle Don. He died at 51. Uncle Bob died at 54 on my mom's side, and I look like one of them. And here I am, ready to go, right? So anyway, that's a boring story. What's important is where are we at today? What's happening right here, right now? Because it's not about my story and what happened to me. It's about you. These webinars, these podcasts, these interviews are for the people who are listening, who are looking for the truth that they can implement in their lives so that they can stay on mission and not lose their body. Because the older you and I get, like just think right now, Debbie, how much more valuable you are today than you were 10 years ago. And how much more valuable you're going to be 10 years from now because of the experience, the knowledge, the wisdom, the know-how, all the definitive, the cleaning of the signal to noise ratio, right? And so you don't want to be losing your body because your body is your connection to the land of the living where you have everything you've ever worked for is here. And you want to be here for your family, your loved ones, your colleagues, your friends, the people you influence in a good way. That's who you're here for. And the older you get, so if you live till 80, wow, okay, that's still better than 70. So you got but what about 90? What about 120? What about 200?
Yeah, I'm not about that. But honestly, to be truthful, I mean, I'm here on this earth plane and I'm going to do my angel work.
Right.
But I don't know that I want to live till 100, to be quite frank. But I will tell you this.
Who would? I wouldn't want to live to 100 either if I had bad health.
I'm trying to max out. I want to go on. Look,
are you, dude? Well, that's because you're neo-positivity.
Debbie, let me ask you.
I had three questions, though, so let me
ask you one question, Debbie, on that one.
Yeah.
So if you had the health of a 21-year-old woman right now, and you were able to maintain the health of a 21-year-old woman, you would love to live into the hundreds of years because this wouldn't change.
No, it
you feel great.
I'm sorry. I
got to return to Earth.
I'm just telling you that you would actually.
Wait. Let Debbie address this. This is important.
Look, I feel that I love what you're saying, Ian, and that is give your body and give you all the opportunities possible to be able to live on this earth and to do this. And I agree with that. I just went through something that has altered my entire perspective on a whole lot of things. Mm-hmm. Yes, we are of more value, but I also know that if it is meant for us to do that, I feel that that's what we will do. Like, I don't know. I personally right now have just went through a massive undertaking of healing. My clarity is amazing. What I am coming back with, and I had to have a surgery in order to get my mental health back due to a tumor that had to come out.
Right.
But I can tell you that when it's my granddaughter's time to shine, I'm ready for her to have her time to shine. When I'm ready to just sit back and observe and I'm ready to leave this planet, I don't know that I want to be 100. What I do want is to remain with the clarity and to be able to be connected to God's source energy and being connected to everyone else. Because you said something more important to me than anything else, and that we are here for others. And I do agree with that. Whether or not this product is everybody's answer, I'm not 100% certain, but I don't know enough about it yet. But I will tell you, I'd like to commend you for coming on here with your passion and your purpose and doing that thing that you feel called to do, because not enough of us are stepping into our power. You hear me? You know right now what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So what you're doing, regardless of what somebody else chooses, whether they want to listen to you or not, right, it is truly inspirational just on the basis of you being a human being and you wanting to impact others. And I think that, dear Ian, is to be recognized, because that's what I love. And that's why Neo's here. It's why Walt's here. It's why I'm here. And I want to just see you continue in that path. And if you have something that can help others, maybe not everyone, but some, maybe that will help improve their life, I'm all for that at 100%. Yep. Yeah. Trust your gut. Trust your gut.
And it's about the daily quality as well. Like, each day, like none of us can say, oh, I'm going to live hundreds of years. I have no ability to say that. I would support that. But the day of what are we doing today? And when tomorrow comes, it's today. And the quality of life that we have in the existing day to day is of extreme importance. The length of life is not nearly as important as what we're doing right here, right now. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't get all wrapped up in the length. I get much more focused on a person's quality of life, where you have nothing interrupting you as far as something that was because of toxicity or some malfunction in the body that can happen to all of us.
All right, let me get in here real quick. Where can we find it? How much does it cost? And did you say you only sleep 3 to 4 hours a night?
Yeah, because you know what? There's a whole study on sleep. Oh God, we can get into that.
Well, right now I'm only sleeping as much as my body wants. I'm not deciding that I'm not trying to do that. I just get so supercharged in my sleep right now that my body is ready to go throughout the day, and I don't get tired. It's like when I'm ready to go to bed.
So you are doing 3 to 4 hours a day?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what I do, I'm getting about 3 hours a night, and then I get at least 1 hour sometime during the day, which is like heaven on earth. I mean, these are sleeps that I instantaneously go to sleep, and I wake up an hour later when I do the nap, and I've got massive energy that came back. It's like hooking up to the battery charger in the sky somewhere, and it's this powerful thing. I attribute it 100% to the unrefined sea salt in the water, because that has radically changed my body more than I've ever dreamed possible. And it's the least amount of time, energy, and money required to get the maximum return. And so it doubles your brain power. You don't get Alzheimer's, you don't get dementia, because your body is no longer dehydrating from the water that people drink. And everyone's dehydrating.
But those are some big claims, and everybody, that is simply his opinion, not fact. So
right.
You need, and I want to just make sure that we reiterate that. Well, yeah, but I just want to make sure that we reiterate that, and that anything that you are taking from this show or any shows that we have, that is your choice, not our medical opinion. Right. We don't have one of those.
Yeah. Legally, we have no medical advice is being given here at all. But what's talking.
No, this is natural stuff. This is just natural living in your own body that you're responsible for. And I cannot stand the idea of being a guru or having a following where people look up to you and they listen to every word you say and they do everything you tell them. That is so corrupted and so wrong, because then what if I go off the rails? And I think if I allowed that to happen, I would go off the rails. It's not cool to do that. People don't need me. They only need what I have. And what I have, once they have it, they don't need me. The whole idea is that people require the information that they require at the foundational level. So all of our bodies are working on certain foundational levels, but everyone's super unique in the layers on the way up. So I may have something that works really well for me, but it does not work at all for that person. And we see this all the time. We have people claiming all kinds of stuff about our products, and they're asking us to publish it. And we can't publish it because I have no clue if that product is going to do that same thing for anyone else, because we're all so unique and everybody's got a different DNA matrix. So it's an individual thing, and people, it's fun to experiment with our own cells. But I didn't, the experimental risky thing, I didn't do too much because I wanted to see results that had happened for years with people who were one-to-one on the ground with people, not at some high-level university with clinical studies, because that's just to sell products.
Great. I wanted to know the same, but yeah, where can you find it? Yeah.
That's the question. That's the big ticker.
Yeah. How much?
Yeah. Well, the best way to go is if people go to activationproducts.com and they subscribe to our newsletter, that's where all this free information exists. And then they take their time. I don't like people to run and buy products because the products are complementary to the knowledge. And people need to take their time. There is way too much of people going, oh, I'm really excited. I got to buy that right away. And they go and buy it before they've really understood why. So I like people to take their time, get in the newsletter, absorb some information, do due diligence on us, think about it, take their time, and then try one thing and see what that does.
Well, you have black cumin oil. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, the black cumin oil is so fun because it fixes your dental. No dental claims. It just does. And everyone knows about oil pulling, but with black cumin, you only have to chew it for 1 minute. You chew it for 1 minute, it gets saliva in it. Then you gargle it at the back of your throat. It does eyes, ears, nose, throat. You swallow it with a little bit of water behind it. It becomes a whole body tonic. But it fixes dental. It gives beautiful, white, lovely teeth. It takes a little while. And it fixes the gum problems because it gets rid of the bacteria that's building the plaque. It cleans the tongue so it gets all the junk out of the shag rug. Cleans the side of the cheeks and the back of the throat. And it's a little bit tingly for the first couple of weeks. But our particular black cumin oil is all certified organic and is pressed in a very high-tech environment where there's no damage done to the oil.
Yeah, this is really cool stuff. Yeah, I really dig it. I am grateful that I had a chance to hop in here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm grateful to have met you as well. So the time went by really fast.
Our hours fly. They just do. That's just the way it works around here. When you're high energy, high vibe, it's going to happen. Now I have to tell you, I've been to your site a few times, obviously, because I'm, doing stuff to, check into who you are and prepare bios and all that kind of thing. As I go back to it, I'm not seeing where they subscribe. So, I know initially if they show up, there's a pop-up that comes in, but I'm not seeing the pop-up. So without the pop-up, where can they go?
Right at the very top of the screen where it says, free shipping with orders over $199.
Oh, in the black. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I know it's not obvious. I asked them to give it a little better button there.
I'm excited.
What's the salt stuff called?
Is it the Alive? Is it the Oceans Alive?
Well, okay, we have a bunch of products that have ocean products in, and most of our stuff is ocean based. Like we have the Ease, which is an extract from seawater, magnesium chloride hexahydrate, but it goes transdermally. We have this product called Trace, which is a liquid form of seawater concentrate, which is a really cool product. And this salt here, we're just rolling it out. It took me forever to find this stuff. And what I want to do is I want to send you if you give me your address, I'll just send you a bottle of this stuff and you can try for yourself.
I'm down 100%. I am on a really big healing journey right now. And,
Same here.
I am super excited about this. Thank you so much. Before that we go, hey, cutie pie, what's going on?
Hi.
Hey, handsome.
See, this is how we know that we're nearing the end of the show because Amor made his appearance, right? I mean, that's
5
just the way it
o'clock.
works.
It's like he knows. Yo, this is law of attraction. I always wake up at 10:20. Past couple of weeks, every day, 10:19, 10:18. My eyes just open. Like it's just insane. But yes, the powder, I'm on it. Like I'm like Debbie. I need to fix some things. All right. So I'm all ears and I'm ready to go.
I wanted to throw in a comment too, because we were talking earlier about, depending on what your health condition is, what your body's condition is, you may want to ramp it up. I just went through some testing in November that showed that I'm in great health for my age. I'm still going to ramp it up slow. I'm going to start small.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to see how my body reacts each step of the way.
Yep. Right.
And it's crazy. I'm like a water freak. I drink like over a gallon of water every day. And so to find out that my body is having to remove electrolytes and send it to the water just to get out.
Yeah.
It makes sense why I have like a lot of muscle problems and stuff like that. So I'm ready to get this going. Let's do it.
Definitely. You're going to be getting some emails, Ian.
I'm about to go dump some salt in this water.
You're ready to get lit up.
Well, I think it is a very specialized salt, but I just am excited about the idea that our body can absorb the water more effectively and not have to work so hard. And then it can put the energy into the healing. I also love the fact that we can rebuild our cellular structure so effectively from what you're saying. I think that autophagy is a massive thing for our cellular structure. And only way I knew that people get into autophagy was to go on a water fast.
Right.
So I'm stoked.
Yeah. When you go on a saltwater fast, it's game over, because now your body has nothing in the way you're hydrating the whole time. The more you hydrate, the more your body can detox, because it has more plasma to work with. Your body's not going to change in shape or size at all, but you're going to go up 10 pounds on the scale because that's how much you're missing right now.
Wow.
And when you
I'm not about that right now. Just saying. I just lost that 10. Dang it.
If you gain 10 pounds of fat, visceral fat, that would be a nightmare.
Oh, did you go?
But this is electrolyte. This is the
You'll
fuel
look
that's
the
going to
same.
fuel you.
That's what counts. You'll look the same.
Yep. But you'll feel 10 times better. Literally.
I got you. That's awesome. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to share this with my family, and I think that's very cool.
And we're super excited that Debbie G's vibe just came back. I mean, talking about sparking the G vibe.
It's a good vibe, bad vibe. Good vibe! The God vibe. The gratitude vibe.
See, this is what we've been missing around here. The WG vibe. It's
I have been missing it. Well, you know what? My vibe. Okay, look, y'all. This, like, literally, I lost my mojo. I don't even know right now. Oh, it's a whole show and a half.
Well, we're going to have to schedule it.
So
next Friday. Cancel anybody who's coming on next Friday. Well,
it is insane.
I think I actually do have a couple of openings. I'm going to see where they are, and I'll contact you guys, and we'll arrange to do it that particular day.
Debbie's our guest next week. Let's do it.
Going to be good stuff.
First,
Ian, got to thank you very much for coming onto the show, for sharing this really interesting information, very different from anything else that I've ever heard. Debbie G's on top of all this stuff. I mean, I'm hearing you talk about this stuff and I'm saying, whoa, what the hell are they talking about? But I'm loving it. I'm getting the gist of it and I'm loving the energy of it. And so that's how I know this is good stuff. Two things I need to do. First of all, I need you to reiterate it. The website is what is it again? Activationproducts.com?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. Activationproducts.com.
All right. And then the second thing I need to do, and this has been a practice of mine now for about 7 or 8 months, you, like so many people coming onto the show, are a giver. You give continuously. And you come onto a podcast like this, you do other shows, you have other ways of reaching out. And there's so many people who are picking up the information that you're putting out there, and they're taking certain steps, or they're not taking any steps at all. I mean, it's going to vary obviously from person to person, but there are many of them. You've never met them, you'll never meet them, you'll never see them, but you're touching their lives and helping them in an important way. I think that's important to recognize. So on their behalf, I want to thank you for what you have been doing in your own life and what you've been doing, promoting and building this new approach to basically providing product to help people to get the kind of life they want, and also to thank you for what you're going to continue to do in the future. So on their behalf, thank you for what you've been doing.
Well, thank you all for putting this whole thing together and inviting me on. I love the work you're doing, and you've been obviously helping a lot of people for a long time. And I think we're just getting started.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to summarize.
Get the party started. Let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you.
Yes.
Beautiful stuff. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Neo. Thank you, Debbie G. Thank you for coming back. Love you so much. Thank you to our podcast listeners everywhere. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
And tomorrow.
And